Hey guys, it's Aaron, your personal coach, and welcome to my presentation tonight on high intensity interval training, topic brought up by one of our group members. Jill, thank you so much. It's much appreciated when you guys can jump in and give me a topic to talk about, just to educate you guys a little bit more on what's going to be the best type of training, or obviously what you can do much better. So tonight is all about high intensity interval training. So what is it? Let's talk about first of all what it is, and then we'll get into obviously a lot more of the questions that Jill I suppose has posted. Look, if you've got any comments, you can post it in the comment. If you've got any questions, sorry, you can post it in the comments. If someone could just give me a quick okay that they can hear me quite well and the sound is right, that'd be great. So obviously our high intensity interval training, what is it? It's short rest periods. That's what it is, short rest periods. Now, I've done a bit of research on this, obviously to back up what I'm going to be talking about. I suppose 15 years in the fitness industry. I've obviously got a lot of background in training clients and myself with the high interval intensity training. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was pretty much the types of high intensity interval training. I'm going to keep saying that, high intensity interval training. It's a bit of a tongue twister. The types of interval training there's one type of training which is called Tremblay. All right, now these are obviously like the names of the people that come up with the type of program. So Tremblay, his intervals are 10 to 15 seconds or 15 seconds to 30 seconds, right? And they're 4 to 5 sets with a 70% intensity, okay, of your heart rate. So obviously heart rate is going to be determined by the rest periods. So if you've got a higher heart rate, the rest period could be a bit longer. Yep. So this is our Tremblay's formula. Total time of the workout 3 to 7 minutes. Yeah, workout done. Right. Short, sharp, and shiny. So that's a total training time. So you can get a workout all done in 3 minutes. Right. So that's Tremblay's theory. Tabata. Right. Tabata is a pretty common training technique that a lot of people, I suppose, have heard of. Right. Tabata training is 20 seconds of activity. Okay. The intensity is 170% of your VO2 max. So this is intense, right? And this is going to be obviously 20 seconds, but 7 to 8 sets with a 10-second rest period. Okay, so with this type of training, 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. You can get 7 sets done in 2.5 minutes because it's only 20 seconds. Right, so really beneficial. Thanks, Mike, for saying that's okay. Hopefully the sound's right and the quality is not cutting out. Another training theory by Little. This is called Little, and this is his theory: 60-second interval training at 100% peak power. Okay, and this is going to be 75 seconds recovery, so a bit longer rest periods in this. 8 to 12 sets. Obviously, you can do more sets if you've got longer rest periods, right? Last one is Gabala. Now, you can check this out, gssi.com. Okay, so Gabala, he reckons all out at 90%, okay, VO2 max. And he hasn't got any specific ranges in regards to rest periods or sets. So they're pretty much the most common types of high intensity interval training, right? So you're probably thinking, right, have I done interval training before? Most people are doing interval training without even knowing it. Okay, interval training can range from so much. Okay, now you have to ask yourself, right, what type of training am I going to be doing interval training? All right, so what types of training? So you can do interval training in your strength training. So that seems to be the most common. Strength training, okay, it can be like your run training, can be your swim training, can be your bike training. It can be pretty much any type of training, can be obviously like high intensity interval training. Any type. It's short and sweet. So it's an incomplete recovery. So reducing that like recovery time pretty much turns it into a high intensity interval training. It's obviously taxing, okay, like physically, metabolically, and like mentally as well. So that's why obviously a lot of people, now there's a lot of stuff out there, like at the moment there's CrossFit, there's like F45. Okay, two of the biggest type things that people love. People love the high intensity interval training because it's fun. It's short, it's sharp, it's fun. But I suppose, look, 15 years in the fitness industry, am I a big fan of it? Yes, I do incorporate it into my own training. I incorporate into my members' training that I'm coaching. But is it for everyone? No, it's not. Because like we have to look at the training age of that person. So this is probably like the biggest thing. And this is why I'm so skeptical of CrossFit, F45 and all that sort of stuff. Because we've got all these people that have a low training age. So this is the amount of training that you've done with a professional. Okay, it could be a coach, it could be a trainer, it could be a physio, but a professional that has taught you the right way and like methods of training. So many people I see CrossFit F45 are going into these places, and look, I'm not saying all CrossFit gyms are bad. There's some really good coaches out there that can teach you obviously like the foundation principles and progress you up. But there's a lot, I'm talking, obviously, I suppose I'm generalizing, a majority of these types of training gyms are going to be obviously like getting you doing advanced movements, powerlifting, fast moving exercise that are like the body is not like ready to do. So that's why training age is so important. Because if you don't have, obviously, a training age, it's important to set a foundation. Now, if you've listened to any of my presentations or talks or coaching, or if you've read my book, it is absolutely essential that we set that foundation up first. All right, so what is that foundation? Foundation means posture. It means mobility, stability, core condition, movement. Right? If you haven't got those foundation principles, and obviously I suppose like we could throw in like nutrition into it as well, because if you haven't got like good like nutrition and you're doing all this advanced stuff, your body's going to break down very quickly. So, but most importantly, if you don't have posture or mobility, you're not going to be able to move properly. So a lot of these high intensity interval training sessions are fast moving exercises, which if you can't like move into them, what you're going to be doing is forcing like yourself like with bad technique. If you're forcing yourself into bad techniques, what happens? You get fucking injured. You're gonna get injured. Guarantee it. I don't know how many people I've spoke to says, oh no, I don't want that type of training, posture correction, core conditioning. I'm gonna go and do CrossFit. Okay. I get the call. Oh, I've done an ACL. I've torn a rotator cuff. Sometimes I need to hold my breath, zip my mouth, and not say, well, I told you so. So it definitely has got a place. So if you don't have these foundation principles, right, the high intensity interval training is not going to be great. Right, so what we need to do, but look, in saying that as well, it's most people that aren't enjoying training, exercising, they might need that high intensity interval training as well. So we've got to have a fine line balance. All right. If you're a coach, if you're a trainer, and you've got someone comes in, they need to have that fun. I've never been a fun trainer. I've been more a coach that's been more based around like results, right? And that's not for everyone. A lot of people don't want to like, well, obviously like they do want to like results, but they want more fun. If it's not fun, it's not going to last. They're not going to stick to it. Right, so it can be a form to get people in, but we need to be very careful. All right, if I like winning that fun, and that's why F45 is so popular, because it's a social scene, it's great fun, it's engaging. Right, people love that. They love that engagement and they love that fun. They love that feeling to walk out from a session, go, I feel like I worked hard. And that's another thing, okay? So obviously, like the high intensity interval training, like I said, it's metabolically taxing. It's like physically taxing and mentally. So people get that endorphin like release, and they go, "Wow, I've done a half an hour session or like 45 minute session. I feel good, right? I feel great. I'm going to go back." It empowers them, and obviously motivates them. Now, I've done my research. Right now, it obviously, of course, a lot of the studies that that I've started to research it's a study in unconditioned people. So most obviously of the studies are done in unconditioned people. So it's obviously going to get the best result. It proves that it's working, because obviously if you're doing like studies in athletes, it's probably going to be smaller margins of results. So obviously all the studies, all the articles, all the scholarly sources I've read has all come back positive impact in regard to like fitness, to like weight loss and like muscle condition. But mainly the main aspects of improvements are fitness, right? But also there's a lot of conflicting studies as well that says a lot of your long range, lower intensity kind of fitness is just as effective. Just as effective, right? For my personal training, I only incorporate 20% intensity in my workouts. Obviously, I'm training for a different, I suppose, aspect. And you have to ask yourself, like, what is your main goal, right? What do you want to achieve if you're doing the high intensity interval training? Yep, so that's a big question. So I want to move on to obviously answering a few of the questions that Jill posted in. Jill, hopefully you're on tonight. Hopefully you're watching. Send me a message if you are. If you're not, it's okay. Hopefully you can watch the rerun. But so how many interval sessions per week should I be doing? Well, look, it is important to do some sort of intensity, like I said, but you have to look at a periodized program as well. Now, if I was talking about strength, right, you couldn't do a high intensity interval training every day, every second day. Okay. So it would be something that you would do, example, if you've got a 3-week block of training, it might be something that you do, say like 1 session per week outside. Oh, hey Jill. It could be something that you just do like 1 session per week in the first week and then do 2 sessions. And then in the third week, you might do 3 sessions, right? But I'm not saying that in that first week you would only do like 1 session. You might do a couple other low intensity sessions. If I'm talking specific strength training, you might do some like run sessions or a bike session, etc. Right? So that would be a better periodization of your high intensity interval training. And then what you could do, take a week, okay, obviously a down week in that 4th week, and then start again. But you might go to 2 to 3 to 4, right? It depends on what type of training blocks that you're doing. And obviously that's why if you've got a coach, or if you are a trainer, you need to periodize your programming, right? And that's what you need to think about, right? Because a lot of people are doing a high intensity interval training 3 to 4 to 5 times a week, right? So that is obviously like setting themselves up for a burnout or for something to go wrong, like an injury, etc. So it is really important that we make sure that we don't overtrain the intensity, because you overtrain the intensity, you can't keep going like that forever, right? You have to be smart. Train smarter, not harder. That is always a really important part of high intensity interval training. Now, the duration, if I'm talking about sessions, it would be an average of like 1 to 3 sessions a week. If you're doing like more than 3 sessions per week, okay, then I would say that you got to have a high training age, and you got to be obviously like very experienced and have great posture, great core condition, obviously like great stability, mobility, all them like foundation principles I spoke about. But if you're not, so you would obviously go like 1 to 3 sessions a week. So that's what I would like recommend. Now, if we're talking about the duration of the sessions, if I talk about like Tremley, Tabata, Little, and like Gabola, right? They are saying that interval training should only be 2.5 to 10 minutes long. Okay, depend on the program as well. Right, so I would say an intensity training session should be 15 to 30 minutes, again depending on like the rest periods, right? And that would not include a good like warm up and a good cool down, like with some stretches and stuff like that at the end. All right, so obviously a lot of your like F45s and CrossFits are probably like 60 minutes, but they do, I'm hoping, incorporate a lot of like warming up and cooling down as well. So like durations, okay, I would say obviously 20 minutes, include your warm up and cool downs. Like sessions per week, okay, like 1 to 3 sessions a week for the general population. Now, if we're talking about the benefits of high intensity interval training, metabolic increases, that is pretty much a no-brainer, and that's why people love it, right? Because it gets a heart rate up, starts to burn a lot of calories, right? So you can burn 1,000 calories per like 1 hour of like interval training, approximately, depending on obviously like your base rate and the training and exercises that you're doing. But you can burn up to 1,000 calories. Now that is great for someone that wants to lose like weight, right? Well, maybe not, because if that person, right, if they burn 1,000 calories and their heart rate stays up all day long, right, so what do you think they're going to be like feeling? If they are like physically taxed and metabolically taxed, they're going to want to eat, right? They're probably going to get more sugar cravings. So for someone to do obviously a high intensity interval training 3 times a week, and their main goal is going to be like weight loss, I would guarantee their like nutrition would change dramatically, and they'd be eating a lot more calories than if they were doing a low intensity, example like a hypertrophy program, trying to build up muscle mass, right? So you got to weigh up. There's a compromise, always a compromise with high intensity interval training. So you have to take like that into account as well. If you are training intensity, or if you are coaching or programming for intensity as well. So that's something to really think about. Because think about it, you've been 1,000 calories per like 1 hour or something close to that. It's a stress on the body. The more stress on the body, right, the more like hormones that we've got going. Example like cortisol. Right, the adrenals are more fatigued, so like we're going to need to replace that to like recover from that. So that is going to come from like food and rest as well, right? It's going to make us like more tired, right? So that's why I said if you're training more than like 3 sessions a week, you can't like recover enough. if you can't like recover enough from your last training session, then you have to listen to the body and probably take like more rest in between those high intensity interval trainings. So that's why obviously 1 to 3 sessions per week over a 3 to 4 week period is a smarter way of training. So obviously like the benefits is increase in metabolism, great for fat burning, it's fun, right? Super fun, people love it, right? It's great for increasing strength, but most importantly, it will increase your fitness a lot faster. Okay, short-term fitness gains. I always say that you need to set an aerobic foundation before this, but that's not going to build your fitness quickly, right? It's more a long-term process. If you're doing a high-intensity interval training, it's going to build it a lot quicker. Negatives, yep, like I just said before about obviously like the high stress and the increase of calorie consumption is going to be quite high, I would say. And obviously, like I said, injuries as well. So they're pretty much like the negatives in regard to high intensity interval training. So it is like really important to have a good compromise what you want to achieve in your training, right? So what are your goals? That's why I'm so strict on getting clear on what your goals are, so that program can be specifically put together for you. Okay, yeah, like I said before, a lot of people are out doing either CrossFit, F45, whatever. It's fun and they're training. It's still better than doing like nothing, right? But if you want to get specific about a goal and have something more structured to suit like yourself, you have to get specific and have that goal in mind. Hopefully that has answered all your questions, Jill. If any of you guys, it's 22 minutes. I normally go for 20 on these, but I want to open up. If you've got any questions, anything that you wanted to clarify, anything that else you want to talk about, please let me know. Just post in the comment section. Jill, if you can let me know if I answered all your questions. If you had anything else, it would be great to hear from you. So yeah, like one of my favorites, I think, like when I first come into the fitness industry, it was Tabata training. And this is pretty common in group training environments in the circuits on a timer, right? It's really good fun. It's great intensity. And if you can get your loads right and intensities correct, it's really effective as well. So Tabata is like one of the training sessions I first, discovered and enjoyed. But I suppose at the moment, the training sessions I really enjoy in regard to interval training is probably with running. So example 400s and 200s, they're great. They're great for high intensity. Yeah, thanks, Jill. Yeah, it was a great topic. Thank you. So running, I think 400s and 200s are great interval trainings. Really gets the heart rate up and obviously pushes the VO2 max. So increases in VO2 max, that's obviously going to have greater increases in fitness. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for joining me tonight. Much appreciated. Look, if you guys have got any more topics for next week, I'll be more than happy to discuss. So like I said, I always like to do some research on this. I've got a couple of articles I'll post in this group as well. If you wanted to obviously follow up and check out the information. It's always good to have some facts and evidence backing you up for what you're talking about. All right, guys, thanks so much. Have a great night. Thanks for joining me. Ciao for now.